So yes, the Nightmare Dungeon update for Diablo 4 is releasing any moment now, but we also just got full patch notes as to what is exactly changing within Nightmare Dungeons, and that's happening again tonight. And we've also got new responses from the devs about why not add even more stash tabs, why add only one with the upcoming update, plus more on fixing movement skills and what is being called a malicious design decision by Blizzard when it comes to the Battle Pass. Also, the community's reactions and feedback from the recent Campfire stream. We're going to get into that one. Some amazing sound feedback right there. So let's get into the official stuff right here. Hotfix 3, July 21st. So this one comes from Adam Fletcher, our community manager of Diablo 4. It says this hotfix has not deployed just yet and will be updated later this evening. So just know that. It's going to be happening any moment now. Now, for gameplay updates, says we are implementing a reduction to overall monster power levels in Nightmare Dungeons. The new top range for tier 100 will feel like what tier 70 was previously. Developer note, although these values make it appear that the higher tiers are easier than lower tiers, this is not the case because the monsters also benefit from being significantly higher level than players in higher Nightmare Dungeon tiers. So let's get into the examples here. So at tier 35, we have HP reduced by 2%, damage reduced by 1%. We have tier 50, HP reduced by 20%, damage reduced by 13%. Tier 70 says HP reduced by 60% and damage reduced by 54%. Also, we have tier 100 saying HP has been reduced by 82%, but also damage reduced by 79% as well. Let me know how you guys are feeling about these changes. They promise that this isn't making the game easier. Now, when it comes to Nightmare Dungeons, if you did miss it, I did an entire video about further updates that they are planning for that. Also, yes, they are planning on a new end game type. I'm kind of curious about what that could be. But yeah, several new updates will be happening down the road. Check out my previous video again if you missed it. But yeah, we have this thread right here out on Reddit, which says the following right here. It says upcoming changes announced during the Diablo 4 Campfire chat. Again, I went over those in my previous video. It highlights some sorcerer changes, sorcerer buffs. Barbarians are also getting some love. But let's get into the replies because these are critical. Check it out. It says one of those sorcerer buffs should include a third enchantment slot. Got tons of upvotes. Now, Blizzard didn't confirm or deny this, but hopefully they're paying attention because this is by far the most highly requested feature for the sorcerer right now that I'm seeing. Also, check out this reply. It was definitely the highlight. Geralt Hoonslayer. Wow. Okay, anyway, it says, first of all, it was a great decision not to have Rod in it. It allowed them to really speak without constantly having someone repeat or rephrase it. Speaking of, at times it felt you don't know you want it, but you do. But overall, I think it was a good stream that did address why they made changes and their philosophy behind it. They did completely dodge the question why dungeon leave time was increased. I think those streams are super valuable and I hope they can continue, but knowing the internet, eventually one idiot will ruin it for us all. I do hope they continue this. They have confirmed to expect another stream next Friday. Now it says, I was super critical about the patch. I'm less now. I still am because even though I understand their points, many of their solutions have been symptom fixes not targeting the root issue. Joe actually himself agrees with what I just said. He understands the root issue of vulnerability is it being its own damage bucket and it being multiplicative, which is something many called out about the patch already. Even with the nerfs, vulnerability is still the best choice and arguably even more important because of the reduced value. They did say they plan to address, but it's why this band-aid fix feels that much worse, but it's comforting to know they know the true issue. Let me end by saying this, I might not agree with all of their decisions, but I believe, to use a Path of Exile phrase, Joe's vision, every time I hear him speak and explain his thoughts, I hear someone who is passionate and wants the game to be better. I said it before, and I continue to say this game right now isn't great, but in a year from now, it most likely will be. Personally, I'm still not interested in Season 1, but I'm looking forward to the future. And that brings up another point. Are you guys gonna skip Season 1? Because we have some replies here. It says, so just wait for Season 2 then. It seems like people are just willing to skip out on Season 1 entirely. But yeah, to go back to this post here, I do agree that I feel like they do have a vision, and I'm curious to see where this goes in about a year or two. I think there could be something special hidden away here, and there's massive potential because I feel like the foundation is there. As long as they do not plan on doing a major nerf like this in the future, they have stated, yo, this is going to be the only time we ever do this. We're not going to be doing this ever again. But I am a little bit concerned when they do say things like, hey, you know, we feel like the beginning of a season is a great way to adjust things and adjust and refreshen the meta. That to me is a little bit concerning. So I have a wait and see approach with what happens next with this game. I just hope it goes in the right direction. Now, back to Twitter. We have this question here. Why do you add only one stash tab and not like 5 or 7 of them? What harm will it do, like make 5 or 10x as expensive as the original ones, but why leave us hanging? Again, we're going to be getting a new stash tab if you did miss it with update 111. And Rod Ferguson of Blizzard confirms actually it would do more harm than you think in terms of how much stash takes up memory with everything stored inside. That's why we continue to optimize the game to make room for them. So apparently there could be potential memory issues, and it could slow down the game if they add more and more stash, more and more inventory space. But you know, I always use the example of the Souls franchise and Elden Ring as the prime games that have no problems with this. So I always ask, what's the problem? I wish they could imitate those games. I wish most RPGs could be more like Elden Ring and the Souls franchise. Now, we have this one right here. Please fix movement skills on controller like leap and teleport. It's very short compared to mouse and keyboard. And the Druid's Trample is also horrible on controller. This needs to be fixed. And we have a reply here from Joseph Rapora, who says it is annoying and is on the list for sure, but there's no ETA on that. I am hoping this issue gets into patch 111 because I'm noticing the community is very vocal about it, and it needs to happen. It just can't be like, oh, we'll get to it eventually. That definitely needs to happen. Also, next up, we have this one. So Blizzard placed the Activate Premium Battle Pass button right next to the button you have to constantly press to check your season journey. Guess what happened to me and at least 5 others on my stream? This is straight up malicious design. And let's go ahead and play and check out what happens here. As you can see, he's in the menu and he accidentally activates the premium portion of the battle pass. Yeah, this has happened to many streamers, many players in Diablo 4. Their intent was not to do this. In fact, this is a discussion out on Reddit with 5,100 upvotes. It says accelerated battle pass button is a pretty toxic setup. For some reason, it says title is mildly misleading. Let's get into the original post because I thought it was on point. It says, what a scummy move by Blizzard, making the accelerated battle pass button the default landing button on this seasonal page. Then they intentionally didn't add a confirmation option for those who hit it by accident. That's my biggest issue, is it doesn't pop up a confirmation window saying, are you sure you want to use up your premium battle pass right now? That should definitely be added into the game immediately if, for all intent purposes, they, you know, are genuine about not screwing over their player base. Now, furthermore, it says this, adding a feature that only exists to prey on misclicks so people activate their battle pass when they don't want to sucks and feels bad. Edit out money references in the above paragraph to avoid confusion. Now, this is very anti-player behavior and really goes to show how far Blizzard has fallen. I noticed this as well. And yeah, let me know if you guys are one of the victims, I guess you would say, that accidentally activated your premium battle pass, or if you're like, this is really no big deal. Honestly, if they're going to be this sneaky and malicious about design decisions, why do it in the first place? You know, that's the thing that just kills me. Like, why are they doing this sort of stuff? It's just not a good look collectively or at all. It makes no sense. Now, we also have this reply right here. It says, so basically 1.1 was half a patch. This is a great point brought up by Quantum Warrior. It says Nightmare 100 was accidentally too hard and required specific setups. So instead of nerfing that first, we nerfed players first. So those builds aren't possible and we'll bring that change later. Yeah, I was hearing this in the stream as well and was kind of like scratching my head. Sorcerer builds felt awful, so instead of improving the bad ones, we decided to nerf the good ones. So they were all equally terrible, then we'll buff them all later. Vulnerable damage is multiplicative, so instead of changing that first, we're just going to take 30% of it away until we fix it properly. What on earth is the point of making the problems you're targeting worse and planning to implement a proper fix later? It's backwards. We're just stuck in this weird limbo state where everything is less fun and we just wait for the other half of patch 1.1 that puts it all right. See, this makes me wonder, why did they even do the patch in the first place? But then I also think I have the answer. Again, you know, my assessment of this is to funnel you guys into season 1. That's how I feel about it, because it makes no sense otherwise. Let me know if you have any other conclusions on this one, because that's the only thing I can come up with, because it just makes no sense. Why not delay all the changes they were committed to for a couple weeks until they had it all put together properly? You know, this was an extremely bad choice with patch 1.1, but hopefully things can mellow out and we never see this happen again before a season starts, because yeah, it's not making much sense. All right, so now it's time to get into your top comments. Remember, leave a comment down below. It could end up right here in a future video, so let's do this. All right, so my most recent video was, of course, about the new major patch being dubbed 111. We're getting major sorcerer reworks and a bunch of other cool stuff. Don't get me wrong, like the respecking cost being reduced by 40%, that's on point. Sorcerer buffs sound great, but also you guys need more. You need enchantment slot number 3, that sort of thing. So let's see what you guys had to say about this one. We have Greg Stillfoot, who says, glad they are making changes that are desperately needed. As a sorcerer's main, I really felt the change to survivability and couldn't clear the higher content consistently anymore. I hope they add worthwhile rewards that are associated with higher tier nightmare dungeons, because right now there isn't any point in doing anything higher than 36 plus unless you're doing challenges. Exactly. You know, they did state that they plan to make world tier 3 and 4 more interesting, especially with ancestrals. That has me curious. So I'm wondering exactly what they're planning behind the scenes, because if they make that interesting, then I will definitely be in it for the long haul. Now we have this one right here from Flying Pancake 0390, who says, I think having a choice between Vuln, Crit, and Overpower would be great. I just can't believe they didn't understand that nerfing things without providing alternatives was going to piss people off. For me, it's hard to believe. It's very hard to believe. These guys have been in the business for way too long to make that kind of mistake. Again, funneling into season 1. That's all I can think of at this point. But yeah, there it is. The latest happenings around Diablo 4. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned for more, and I will see you all next time. Take care.